So I'm curious, how much do you think your reading influenced your performance, and what genre do you think is most critical for an actor to read?
Yikes, that's a good question. I didn't go to drama school. Here was my plan, which has not worked out, but here was my plan. I was studying, I loved English at school. I didn't love, do you want to get that? I didn't really love the English teachers that much, so I thought, I know, sneaky, I'll study Russian and French and German, and then I can do all the literature that way. Then I ended up going to university, I went to Oxford and did Russian and French. So I spent quite a lot of time, you know, doing sort of quite dark Russian stuff, and it was all in Russian. And then the French, I had to read it in French. So anytime I'm reading anything in English, I feel like I'm cheating. And I love modern American fiction and modern English fiction. Like I say, it's like sort of a bit like OK Magazine for me, because actually in English. So that's great. But I do think that it was really helpful to me to have spent a lot of time reading all the classics, whether it was English or Russian or French, just because their story and the scope of the story and the characters and all of that, there's such there's such a lot you can do in a massive, great big novel, you know, and that can be hard then. You get an adaptation. I did Emma once, and I did come to the conclusion that I don't think, I mean, I really liked the Emma that we did and everything, but I don't think you can really adequately portray Emma as you can in the book, because it's all about her thoughts, and there's so much you get, you know, from that you can only really talk to the cat so many times, or have a voiceover, or whatever it is they do in movies to do that, you know, it's not the same. So for me, I found that, you know, really, really helpful. I've also, just sort of acting-wise, the things that you kind of use to put yourself sort of emotionally in the right place. I found poetry a very fast track, in the same way as music is. You know, you often find actors kind of listening to headphones and then suddenly bursting into tears. But I find poetry can do that for me as well. I don't know if I've answered the question at all. I was really rambling away. But I think the rooting in the classic stuff has been good for me.